Tonight's Bar Rescue, Danny sits on his fanny. You won't want to miss it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, Bar Rescue fans. Keven Undergaro here, back for another Bar Rescue after show. Danny sits on his fanny, but I'll tell you, I am so excited because I finally have a full table of experts, hosts, and advisors, and of ladies, which makes it even better. Dorinda, longtime veteran, longtime Bar Rescue, co-host with me, 17 years behind the bar. Welcome back.
Hi, guys. I'm so happy to be back.
Did you miss us?
I did. I missed you guys a lot.
I have no idea how much I missed you. It's hard to do this. And of course, you know the lovely and talented Gabrielle Loren.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Right, and then of course, Ashley Daniels, who's an AfterBuzz host, who's done Bar Rescue, but then was on tonight's episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hey, guys. Yeah, congratulations.
It's so weird being next to you. It's like old times.
It is, like when we first started.
I know. It's so funny.
I'm throwing up. It tastes like snot. What did you say? It tastes like snot?
It's like gooey snot. No, I never tasted gooey snot, but it had the texture of gooey snot.
It looks like gooey snot.
But you were throwing up.
I almost threw up. I got really sick after. Really, really sick.
Well, it was such a nice surprise, too, because I had no idea you were going to be on the episode. So
I didn't even know until the day of.
I was just like, oh, look at that. This is even so much better.
You know,
Ash,
keeping it real.
Take us through the beginning. You go in with Nicole. What do you see? I want to describe this place to us.
Okay, it looked like a cafeteria. I had mentioned that on camera too. It literally looked like your school cafeteria in high school. It had weird, random, like posters and just things that reminded me of a school cafeteria, or like a church hall, but like at the bottom, like how in churches they have like the bottom floor.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes they have events
and
like
cheap or commercial, like industrialized seats, and the big giant walls that were just white.
Right? It was the seat. My seat had a big rip in it, and it was like cutting my leg. Thank God I had like jeans on, but I could feel like the scraping to my leg. It was just so horrible. The floors were dirty. It smelled. It was. I just remember feeling like I was claustrophobic and I wanted to leave so badly. But I didn't because I was on Bar Rescue. But like I did. And
so did you get to go upstairs? Because I saw that room too, and that room just looked like a.
It looked like a college dorm. Didn't you guys think?
Yes.
College furniture.
Like my first shore house on the Jersey Shore. That's exactly what it looked like. The upstairs, and like 15 people slept there.
Yeah. No, I didn't go upstairs. We walked right into the bar, and we sat right at the bar, and we ordered some drinks. My one thing you didn't see was, not only was that second drink that they made half full, but it had a lipstick stain on it. The cup was filthy.
The worst.
And it had a bright pink lipstick stain. And I mentioned it to them, and I was like, it's a really dirty cup. And so they acknowledged that, and it was really dirty. The cup. It was hard to sip out of it, willingly.
I mean, I know you mentioned you got sick after, but one of my questions on my paper I wrote down was, did Ashley get food poisoning?
No, I thought I was going to from the tuna, because that was the gooey snot.
There's meat in there too.
Yeah, I ate some of the meat. I had to eat the pork. I mean, you don't understand. We actually ordered every single thing on the menu, and even to the point where like there were like 10 different pizzas on the menu. They gave us one of every pizza. So it was literally, at one point there was no room on the table. We had to keep taking other tables, and you could see me at one point.
No, like, I saw you turning into waitress.
Yeah, because
typical Italian girl. Like I saw you working.
I was cleaning and I was moving stuff because things were just getting piled on top of each other, and I couldn't live like that. I was having like anxiety, so I started cleaning. But yeah, we had one of our. I was excited for the pizza because I was starving. And
how long did it take for them to actually bring out all of the food?
It felt like an hour. It wasn't very long. It came one after the other. I mean, we ordered a bunch of drinks too, which they don't show. The pizza, they didn't show this part either. I actually was able to drain the pizza. They showed a little bit with the spoon.
Drain.
Yeah,
so I strained all of it, and I put it in a bowl, and I gave the bowl to John, a bowl of oil, and I was like, this is from the pizza. It was a bowl of oil when I was done draining it out.
That's gross.
I always wonder with pizza, why does it get that oily? Is it the cheese, or are they adding grease to it?
It's too much cheese as well, though.
Yeah.
When you overcook it, the cheese, it starts to boil and get watery.
That stuff makes me sick. Like, I couldn't eat that pizza
When I
and
saw
survive.
a Nicole spooning it off of the pizza, I got. So was anything edible? Ash, anything, honestly.
Honestly, the only thing that was the chips that came with the nachos, but they came out of a bag. But I was so hungry, I was like eating that. I was so afraid to eat the tuna. That was the part that really scared me.
Gooey tuna.
It was gooey. It had snotty like substance to it. It was so gross. The pork was disgusting. You didn't see the mac and cheese was funny because like they put a different type. They put like ziti in the mac and cheese, which is like a no-no. You don't put ziti with mac and cheese. And so it was like this watery. John, it was scary when John threw the food. He actually like nothing got on me, but it it was just he definitely like was so angry when he saw like the pasta and he saw the pizza and he saw the oil. He flipped out. It was. He gets mad.
It turned into almost a food fight. I noticed that. Like, food was flying everywhere.
Big bang of pizza went across the room.
Yeah.
A whole thing of pizza.
With you being there, and this is another thing, because people ask me, knowing that I have done this show before and know that we did an episode before, and they're like, well, is that all fake? And I'm like, no, it's actually one of the realest things ever. So for you to be there in the midst of all that, had to be crazy.
The lady actually, it was so real. The lady with the blonde hair, I forget her name, or the lady that owned it. She was like, she was laughing at one point. Like they were all kind of like giving us like an attitude, like laughing. And Nicole like called them out. She's like, and this is on camera, so it's like she was like what? Like what's wrong? Like it was like they were like laughing at the situation, like it was funny, and we were sitting there like disgusted by the food. So it was just like it was not. They weren't taking it very serious.
Oh, that's always nice.
Yeah. They didn't show that part on the episode.
Yeah, but you know what? It makes sense because these 60% owners, when they were forced to be put into action, they really couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? So it does make sense that they would just be off to the side laughing because they were useless.
I guess so. I'd probably be crying if it was me.
Well, yeah, because you'd be thinking of your money and your investments.
Yeah, that's her retirement and her husband's retirement.
I think they thought it was probably difficult for them to see us so sickened by the food and seeing all that food coming out at once. And then we found out after that there was that whole leak. We didn't know. I would have definitely thrown up if I knew there was water like in the kitchen piled up.
And that was,
Did you see how much water?
Like that.
We didn't know about it while we were there. It was until after that I found out. I was like, oh my God, because that's nasty.
That's insane.
First of all, that you should be shut down for that. There's no reason that place should have even been open for that alone to have that much. What was it? I would say about at least an inch.
It was an inch or two. I thought it was even
But that
higher.
happened from someone carelessly leaving the sink on and overflowing while they were doing everything, which is a shocker because you're preparing 28 meal items off the menu and you're back and forth in the kitchen. Don't you see the sinks running?
This seems to me,
Exactly. I don't understand
So weird.
it seemed to me this place had decent help because the at least the guys in the kitchen dressed the part. They looked like they were chefs, and then the bartenders had good attitudes, but it was the owners were just very absent, very lame, right?
Oh yeah, and here's the thing, because like the bartenders, they were good, but didn't have any training,
Right.
and these guys just didn't care. The one, and I don't want to say anything bad, but like the son and the mom were way too, they were so close, and they were always with each other, sitting together, watching the whole thing go down, but nobody was saying anything. It's like watching a sinking ship while you're on it and not moving at all.
I get like cuddling with your mom, but did you notice that he had his arms around her
like,
all the time?
Yeah, and like very protective. And if you want to be protective of your mom, be protective of her investment and say something. But it was so hard to watch this whole episode of this guy thinking he knew it all, but had all these people just watching him. What was it, 11,000 or 15,000 a month they were losing?
12 to 15,000 a month that they were losing. Yeah.
The first time I lost 12,000 a month, I would have started looking into things. I don't know where they let this go for so long. It's ridiculous. Look, I don't know. If you were losing that much money, you would have noticed it in the beginning.
He probably is. I'm just kidding.
Yes,
We get complaints all the time.
Yeah, I am.
Right?
But you have to look. You have to look into changes. Of course, you do. But I think a lot of these guys either quit or they get in the business for the wrong reasons. They're not, we see it all the time. So that's nothing new. I was wondering why physically this renovation was outstanding, and we'll get to that. So I get that. I wonder, casting wise, if this was the perfect the perfect bar to cast. And I guess, Ashley, you were there, so you tell me, was it up to the Bar Rescue standards?
Yeah, definitely.
Because it was just that bad of a bar.
Yeah, I mean, it was so bad. It was so bad that at one point I said to the guy that was, what was his name? The guy that was serving me all the food.
Danny?
Danny. I said, would you eat this? And he was like, no. And I it's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna eat it then, you know. So it's like when you get to the point where you're serving food that you wouldn't even touch. It's like I'm showing him the oil. It was all. I honestly believe most of it was frozen because there's just no way that could come out that fast anyway. But they said it wasn't. But you can't be. Why would you even serve it? Just take the menu and limit it to like 3 or 4 items if you can't produce good food. So it's just like they were just so over, just past the breaking point.
Did you guys enjoy the 140-foot line for draft beer? So you understand, Dorinda, if you can't keep draft beer cold, it just turns to foam.
Yeah, it's. I can't. I was watching it, and it was just amazing to see something like that. I mean, like I said, we all know that I've worked in some pretty crappy bars before, but when I saw that, I was like, wow, that takes the cake.
Right.
Yeah, that really takes a cake. And then they're changing the keg, and it's still not working, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah.
Their system was it was kiboshed when I saw it. And I was actually laughing out loud watching it.
Experts wise, we had our own Lisa Marie Joyce.
Oh, I like her. She's so
right,
cool.
and we had Brendan.
Yeah.
In the kitchen, and it's funny. Just Brendan, I just loved what his ideas on what he was going to do with meats, and
Oh yeah, what was it? The pickled, or the pork belly?
Yeah, they had a pork belly, and didn't they have a steak too? They did steak as well.
He did steak too, and like I said, the staff wasn't bad. It didn't seem like it. It was just bad leadership.
Yeah. And so if you have bad leadership and you have a good staff, but a staff that doesn't really know what they're doing, it's like a recipe for disaster.
He was really hammering. He was hammering Danny, like he was beating him down, But I mean, obviously, it was due.
Did you think he was going to come back the next day after he walked out on the bar?
I was 50-50.
I wasn't expecting him to show back up, but then he showed up with a good attitude. It was kind of shocking.
Yeah, well, he wants his free bar.
Yeah,
I guess so, but we've seen it go the other way too.
Where they don't
come back.
They're so deep in failure.
Yeah.
They can't, they're still in denial, and they still can't believe that this can be fixed without them, but they don't know what to do. But I was very surprised by that, but happily surprised. Because John really reamed into him, big time. I thought that was one of the hardest that he's ever gone in on someone. That's what I will say. I was like,
I feel like John knows when, TV-wise, he needs to do that. Because aesthetically, the bar needed help. But character-wise, I felt these guys weren't the most, they weren't the most colorful of characters we've had in the past. You know what I mean?
No.
They're a little soft, right? So I think John had to, really, 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 go at the guy. And I mean, and rightfully so. Rightfully so, because, sorry, baby. Baby loves Bar Rescue.
We got a guest in the building.
he was very sweet. That's one thing I felt bad about was Danny was very sweet.
Seemed very sweet, right?
It was so hard for me to tell him that everything was disgusting because I felt so bad. But he was so nice, and he really was. I felt bad for him in that situation. It's tough to see someone have to get all of that
and get hammered. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Best advice I have for any of these people is just take it.
Yeah.
Just sit there and take it. It doesn't make the best TV when you do.
Well, you have to understand, John saw his wife for God only knows how long we were shooting, and he saw his wife eating this like literally toxic food, putting toxins in your body. God only knows what was in that food. So it was a lot of protective husband vibes going on too, you know.
And here's the other thing. This is what my mind couldn't wrap around. They recognized her. They recognized her and still could not perform at their best. and it was.
Well, they're not capable. Doing that. I mean, you can't fix what's been wrong for years. You know what I mean?
You're
Like in a
right.
minute. So
I know.
I thought it was so funny. Scratch your nose if you hear me or something. Whatever she said, she's not scratching her nose.
Yeah.
So
Did
funny.
you know what was going on? Did you have like an IFB in your ear too?
No, I don't think I had one. She had one.
yeah, usually when
I didn't
it's
have
two,
one.
like I don't,
No, I didn't have
have
one.
one. Maria would
I had
have
a mic,
one.
but I didn't have it.
When I do it with Maria has one.
Yeah, so she gets it around.
Really funny.
That's so interesting. Yeah, because I was wondering if you knew or you just found out after when you watched back the episode. Oh, she's scratching her nose. That's
Yeah,
so
I
funny.
watch
didn't
out.
know.
Yeah, I was just talking her ear off. I don't even know what I was saying to the poor girl. She probably couldn't hear him anyway because I'm like talking to her. So it was funny to see her do that. I didn't know she did that.
That's hysterical.
Funny.
I think, when we go do the stress test, after Danny takes his punishment due, we do the stress test and we see the owners are just. Have we? I don't think we've seen owners so useless.
No, it was honestly the blind leading the blind, and actually they probably would have done better than these people.
Oh God.
So bad because they just were just standing there trying to look like they were doing something, but it was just making everything worse for everyone else. Because you got to see that the bartenders weren't that bad.
No,
they at
they
least
weren't.
had speed on them,
Right.
which is great.
Good attitude.
Good attitude, speed. They were up for willing to learn, which is great too.
Can we talk about the bartenders for a
Yeah.
second? I love them, by the way, and I'm glad that John, paid them respect by acknowledging that they know what they're doing. But I saw one of the bartenders make a drink and take a packet of sugar and just dump that in. Did you guys see that?
Yes.
They
When
took
they were-
like
The
a
old
table
fashioned-
It
sugar
was the
and
old fashioned. Yeah.
dumped the whole thing in it. That
Yeah.
to me is gross.
Well, that's a drink, though, right?
Well, yeah, that's
It's
the
plain.
whole
whole
part. Well, you're supposed to either take a sugar cube, or if you don't
And
have a
muddle
sugar,
it.
and muddle it in with the orange
Yeah.
and the
I'm just
cherry.
like, come on, like this is what sweet and low. I mean, I know it wasn't sweet and low, but still.
Wait, but she didn't do it and muddle it. She just poured it
She just
in.
poured it in.
Yeah,
Right.
you don't do it that way. You're
It was
supposed to
janky, and
muddle
everyone
it.
could
Yeah.
see you doing it.
Do you need to muddle it if it's already in a packet? You still
Well,
have to
yeah,
squish it
because
down?
you're gonna muddle in the orange and the cherry, so you're muddling all that in
I see.
together.
Okay.
It was like she was making tea or coffee.
Yeah.
She just poured it back in it.
Where's the milk?
Tea and crumpets.
It was crazy.
But yeah, but then again, they probably weren't taught. So she thought, oh, sugar goes in here. Wasn't taught the right way on how to do a drink like that. And then just threw it in there and said, oh, perfect. I put all the right ingredients in. It's just, yeah, that was crazy. You're right.
I just noticed those small little things sometimes, and I would have been grossed out if someone made me a drink and it right in front of my face. I saw them do that.
Yeah. And then did you see Lisa Marie go rogue and start just throwing tickets up in the air?
Oh,
What the
yeah.
heck? She just started
She freaked
snapping.
out.
She couldn't take it anymore. The kitchen seemed like it performed better. They just couldn't get the stuff out, right? But they were cooking stuff well.
Yeah, they couldn't get it out because the owners didn't know the tables. So you guys are so lost in how much you're losing that you don't know where table 101 is or table 102.
They didn't have a table 101, they said.
So they didn't have a
They
table.
actually
so they
didn't
would
have a
just,
table.
Well, because why? They were never that busy enough to have that?
I
would
just
think.
don't know if there was a 101 in general, because that's what it sounded like when you watched back the episode.
Yeah, because they didn't know where anything was. They were dropping everything off at different tables, having extras in the window because they didn't drop it off to the right place. I was like, that was like a Three Stooges episode.
And not only that, weren't they cooking their food in like a pizza oven?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? And so what was interesting, it was such a major renovation that we didn't see what they did to the kitchen.
Yes.
So, Ash, you any idea? Because
I don't know, but I do know it's so valuable to have a pizza oven, like a real, authentic one, that it was surprising to me that the pizza was so disgusting. Because that's, and you can do a lot with that. You can actually cook a lot of things in there,
Right.
not just pizza. It's so valuable. Like new places never have pizza ovens. It's very hard to get those. I know they're.
Yeah, because you can do a lot of baked
Very
dishes in
valuable.
there. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
You can. It was interesting though. We didn't see what they did with the kitchen, but they must have done something because, or at least reorganized it for them
Well,
to be putting out this high-end fare.
They were using that, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a tray that you cook on, like a pot almost, or like a pan. And it was under the flame. Did you see? They had the regular stove and they put the other, it was like a flat pan how they were cooking the pork and the steak. So I don't know,
like
maybe
a
they
skillet.
Yeah, like a skillet. Maybe they were just giving them those utilities to use instead, or those tools, I should say.
Gotcha.
Instead of just like renovating stuff.
Right.
They were like, use this because it will still work.
Right.
That's what it seemed like.
Well, we go to the. I say we go to the sit down, and I knew the sit down was going to be pretty soft because I thought the four of them were just pretty soft. It wasn't like the other sit downs where we've got like, okay, Ashley's the hardcore alcoholic, and you know what I mean, and this guy is like trying to bang all the cocktail waitresses, or this is the brother who invested half his money. It just.
Oh, I want to see that episode.
Right?
Me too. God, can you produce something?
Yeah, I mean, again, just this part just seemed easy. It was like, okay, listen, you have to be more into standards, more into consistency. I got it. But I did like when we talked about what John did with the drink menu, the fusion stuff. I mean, that's really big right now, Dorinda, right?
Oh yeah, everybody's infusing everything. Especially like you go to Katana and they have the pineapple watermelon infused vodka. I was just somewhere else.
And
They
here's
had
my
some
question.
stuff.
At what point does the fruit rot? How long does that last?
When I used to do it, we used to keep it a few days.
Okay.
But I mean, it's in alcohol. So
And you're muddling it,
and-
right? So it's not like it has to have a certain texture when you bite into
yeah,
it.
well, what it is, it's soaking. So it's normally in one of those pitchers that have the spout. So you're taking, you don't really have to muddle anything because it's soaking.
It's breaking it all
and
down.
it breaks it all down. But we would let it sit a few days. I know some people let it sit longer. I don't know if you should, but yeah. I
See,
mean,
now I'm concerned about infusion when I go out. Because I was saying to myself, I saw it, like, I like infusion, but I'm like, wait, what about the bars that leave it too long?
well, I mean, like the coffee walnut bourbon. They had that, right?
Yeah, that
the
seems
coffee
like,
walnut
okay,
bourbon.
see, that would last
That
longer.
would last longer, but
It's
then
just-
the orange.
I just get
cherry,
nervous
right?
about fruit.
It
Fruit
was-
rots in your stomach, and then in your stomach, and
They had cherries and orange called the Rack Reserve, and then the coffee and walnut, the toasted case.
Yeah, that's something I wanted. I saw that. I was
Or
like, I
casks,
want to
sorry.
try that. I want to know what coffee walnut.
That sounded amazing,
Yeah,
actually.
it did.
And I like coffee.
Yeah,
I
no,
love
it
coffee,
did.
right?
I give John a lot of credit because I thought the drinks were perfect, and because it felt whiskey, like they said.
Mm-hmm.
So that made sense. And then we talked about the menu John came up with was outstanding. I mean, so all that stuff worked.
And it was also easy, which I noticed, because sometimes you have to do all the shaking and
I
all
get
the
so
muddling,
nervous when it's
and watching all this, it was so easy to make, which was so nice to see.
because sometimes I see when some of the other drinks they come up with, I'll be watching with my fiance and I'll say, okay, these drinks are amazing, but I'll say there's no way these knuckleheads when they leave they're never gonna be able to remember this.
No.
But this seemed easy enough, and we had good bartenders, right?
Yeah, we had good bartenders. They, even after the stress test, even Lisa Marie was complimenting them after the stress test, saying that they know what they're doing and everything. So I knew that they could pull it off, but I knew that this was also simple, but yet exotic enough because of the bourbons, and that it would be okay.
In the kitchen, I mean, it looked intricate. But would you say it wasn't either?
No, I just thought he was I thought it was a little bit more like the pork. Once again, I'm thinking about that pork belly, but because it looks so good.
Yeah, no, it did. It looked amazing.
But everything he did was pretty simple too for them, and it was good to see. I thought it was just that one guy, but then we went into the stress test, right? There was two. So and it helps a little bit more to have two. Because no way in a stress test, or even when this place gets busy, one guy is going to be able to handle it with it. Because that place was huge. Mm-hmm. That place, you were there, really big. There's no way.
I love when they do the big ones because I know it's going to be a huge overhaul. I like when they get over their head in renovations, and I knew this was like ginormous.
Oh yeah, I mean, because they had the upstairs, they had the restaurant, they had the bar, they had the kitchen, like. What was the square footage on this place?
I don't know. It was huge.
I don't know either.
And it was also high ceilings.
Yeah.
as well, right?
It was like a.
But Ash, it was a
ballroom,
bar
but like
with
an ugly one.
Ash, it was a bar within a restaurant.
Yeah, it was like honestly, what it looked like was like a bar that was put into like a cafeteria. Like there's like a big boxed room, and then like a bar was randomly put in there. But the bar was like so old and like everything was falling apart.
But those doors that let in, it almost feel, it almost felt to me like the way Vegas is really open, and then there'll be like a door that'll have a sign above it that you can go into.
It wasn't
bar,
even
right?
discreet though, right?
I know,
When you
wasn't it?
went?
No, I mean like it didn't even have a feeling of a restaurant or a bar. It just had a feeling of like a big room that was just filled with like darkness.
Wait, so that's the bar or the restaurant, Ash?
The bar, but the restaurant was behind, like right there. Like what? Like it took me 2 steps to walk from the restaurant to the bar.
Did you have to go through the restaurant to get to the bar?
When I came in, I went through the bar to get to the restaurant, and then when
So
I
you
left,
maybe went in the back way.
yeah, I probably went in through the back way.
Because when we see the reveal, you know, when we get to see the big sign, it's not an outdoor sign; it's a sign above a door.
Well, they said that the regular patrons had to enter through the restaurant
To get to the bar.
Like there was a separate entrance. So yeah, it's probably possible you went through a back door.
You went through the back door because of
yeah.
production.
Probably. It didn't look like a restaurant though. Like you have to understand, it's literally like it was a bar. This is a bar. This is the restaurant. Like it was one step. It wasn't like this huge. Like I walked right from the bar and I sat down right at a table in 2 seconds. It's like 2 different areas. It felt very connected.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. That's just how it felt. That maybe they had it set up a certain way that night or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's
Did
how
you
it felt.
see? Well, so when we go to the reveal, did you recognize the door? You know, there was a door, and above it said "aged." Sentinella's aged.
When they changed
Oh
it.
yeah. It did. Yeah, that was. I don't think I went through. I think I left through that way afterward.
And where did that take you through the restaurant? That's what it
I
seemed
don't
like.
even remember because it was so dark and I was just
It's-
like ready
it's-
to puke.
so
honestly.
it's-
I was like losing myself, like sweating.
It seems looking online that you have the exterior, that's the restaurant, and you go through the restaurant, and then there's that door, well, at least that's what it appeared like, that got you to the bar area.
Yeah, they had me go through the bar area, so yeah, that was a different. There was definitely
probably-
there was like
because the
3 different doors.
Well, production brings you through the back, I know from
Right,
doing the show.
right.
But it seems like from looking online, yeah, it has the exterior, and then you go through that, and then you hit the side door. And so finally, like, unless there's anything else to say, do you want to talk to reveal?
Yeah, let's
Renovation.
Yeah.
So renovation, you know, we saw. I love the sign above the door. I love that he kept it. He didn't mess with a 35-year-old brand. He just gave it a little
little
twist.
tweak.
Yeah, and I thought the signage was nice for that. You know, it seemed really inviting and warm. Like you knew I was
liked
going
it.
into a different world. So I'm with my family at a restaurant here, but okay, this is where we go. This is where we go.
Like this is where the
drink.
magic happened.
Yeah,
That's-
that's how I felt.
I thought that it took the character of what they were trying to do with all the bourbon drinks and everything by calling it the aging room, and it reminded me of a speakeasy, how you walk in through
Yeah.
a
Yes.
secret door and it's
Yeah.
kind of different. So to me, I think they really did a great renovation to make it make sense.
Yeah.
And I also love that this bar, when they show like the aerial views and stuff,
So when you go inside, so now take
Yeah.
us inside, Kev.
so when you go inside, it's these high ceilings, like you mentioned, which I didn't even notice in the beginning of the episode because they didn't really show it too much.
Right.
They didn't feature it. But they have these high ceilings. They changed the wallpaper to these casks that you would see at a distillery. They have the barrels on racks on the wall. Huge monitor was still there. I just thought the way they did the decor inside was beautiful.
I thought it was one of the best.
One
I
of
know I
the
say this every
best,
week, but
yes.
it's seriously one of the best renovations I've ever seen.
I was
loved
gonna
it.
say the same thing. This was I know you said the characters weren't really there, but for me, this was one of my favorite episodes so far because of how much they changed
Right?
that place.
But that's so as you watch
Yeah.
this every week. That's Bar Rescue. That's why this is the best of all the shows because just John fucking delivers. You know, they really. I don't know how they do it, but I mean, you know, and he was just even saying things about how it was so big, but even having those half barrels come off the wall in the 2-dimensional way makes it a little smaller, a little
Right.
cozier. But then also, you know, taking that last wall and putting the wallpaper all the way up to the top almost gives you an infinity feel.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When you're looking at that wall, it just seeing it, it blew me away. And then shortening the line from 100
Yes.
to 100 feet pretty much because
Yeah.
they took out 40.
and then but building it in organically, so it's painted and it's kind of like a working prop there.
Which is great. And I love that stuff. That stuff I love because it's ingenious and plus it's just so much so much more efficient. That's what I really appreciated about that.
And what I loved about how he renovated this place with the lines is that he decided to put character to it also and add the signage to include the feet, right? That's what he did. Or he put something there on along the pipes.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
I thought that was genius.
Yes.
That was John Taffer genius.
Totally.
He's so good at what he does. It's just, it's
awesome.
crazy. And he keeps coming up with these ideas. He doesn't stop. How does he, and also the other thing about this show and what keeps it going, what are we into? Almost 100
Over 100 episodes.
Over 100 episodes. Not one episode has it. All these episodes, he does something different, so it keeps you hooked instead of following the same formula all the time, where you could just get bored because you're like, oh, we know what's going to happen here. Oh, we know what's going to happen here. He keeps a reveal. He keeps the stress. He keeps a recon. But even sometimes he flips that around.
Yes.
Because we've seen that before. So even with this, it kind of followed what he normally does, but with the renovation, that was the star instead of the people.
For this
Right.
one, yeah, that was the star.
Exactly,
It was
Dorinda.
incredible.
100%.
Yeah.
Really blew me away.
And and that's how his brain is so interesting because he probably thought, okay, these people really are bringing it. We're going to have to flip this somehow.
And not only that, but I think he changed our perspective as viewers because it made me want to go to the bar now. Like, I actually want to go to Long Beach and visit that bar.
I do too.
So that will be on our list.
Yeah, we're gonna do. Yeah, we're putting together a tour.
Oh, I can't
A
wait.
crawl.
A tour across the...
We are. No, for Southern California.
Southern California.
Which one did you go to, Dorinda, when you were back home? Which one was it? In Jersey?
The one at,
the fire truck
with
or
the
something?
fire truck.
Yeah.
Yes, I was supposed to go there, but the owners weren't there that day,
okay.
so we weren't able to go, which really stunk because I was going to go with all my sisters.
Right.
And you get the 5 of us together and some of our friends. We were going to tape it and everything.
That would have been fun.
But they weren't there. And I
We're
was
gonna do the
upset.
LA one. We're gonna
Okay,
do a crawl
perfect.
for the LA bars. Are you aware now? Have you been watching enough to know that Pirates has a pulse
Yes.
for maybe
Yes.
maybe opening a new bar in Tampa?
My brother is moving there. He's on his way there today, actually.
Perfect.
I'm gonna
So,
take a
We should
stop.
visit.
Stop.
Perfect.
No way.
tried
Like,
to
that's
go to
so
Pirates.
cool.
well, she hasn't gotten there yet to open
Okay.
it. But I actually think I think she's got a shot. Think about Tampa Pirates.
Bless
You
you.
know what I mean? Like, no, she actually
On the water.
What? Because she makes it touristy. She's got a shot.
Yeah, I mean, that's... listen.
One-eyed Mike can come and put his sword to customers' throats, if need be.
We were in Annapolis. We were in Washington. We were gonna try to go to Silver Springs because it was on the way, but we couldn't go. We have a wedding to go to, and my friend Michelle, who is a huge Bar Rescue fan, her and her husband, I was with her, and she's like, "We gotta go," but we didn't have the time. I was so upset.
I wonder
about
what's
it.
in there now. But you know, John softened up on her.
Well, good. Well, maybe
I
she
think-
learned something.
I think she's learned. I think she's learned that the most profit she's made out of that bar was being on Bar Rescue because now she's a legend.
Yeah, I mean, I know when I've done the show, I don't think we ever had a show that we didn't mention her or Pirates or.
No.
I mean, she is a legend. She's infamous,
I'm
right?
still waiting. You know. To the co-executive producer Katie Dirks, I'm still waiting for more wackadoodles and fruitcakes this season. I'm very pleased with what we've seen thus far, but I like my Wonder
Yeah.
Bar, I like my Pirates, I like my
Dude.
I like my crazies. It's like crazies. You have the crazies, you have your douchebags, and you have your sad.
Yeah, you have your heartwarming
Yeah.
ones. You know, when
And
a
it's a
horse walks into a bar.
Great. Yes, I know that's your one.
That's
Always
my
makes Dorinda
fave.
cry.
Makes me cry.
So would this be considered the douchebag episode?
No,
Not
no,
as much?
This is more the sentimental.
Yeah, it's more
Because he was-
the
Because the
sense- yeah.
Because he's a nice guy. He, you know, he-
yeah.
So we were both wrong last week with our predictions.
that we thought this was going to be a.
You wanted wackadoodle and I said douchebag.
Yeah, and so I don't think so. Did you see a preview this week?
I didn't see
I
a
did not
preview
see a
this week.
preview. So I don't know.
Well, because it's Memorial Day weekend. Is there an episode?
Oh no, maybe not. Maybe
yeah.
maybe we're off
That
next week.
stinks.
Yeah, I feel like this was... Yeah, I feel like we're off.
Next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then maybe next. So the week after. Fingers crossed for a wackadoodle or a douchebag.
We're due.
I know, because it's always fun to talk about.
They're the best. They just make the best TV. It's just hard. And, John takes it so serious that he doesn't see it that way. He's just like, I'm there to fix a bar. Like, they really get him so aggravated where they entertain me.
Like, we're here laughing and he's yelling.
Oh, he has to deal. Well, he has to deal with them, and to him, it's just he takes it so serious. It's insane. You know what? You guys know from me in my world when I'm working with all you guys with your careers, if you guys are wackadoodles, so now I'm having a realization about what poor John goes through. If you guys, and you're not, were wackadoodles with me, the wackadoodles I deal with that I have to counsel with their careers, I want to hang myself. I do. I want to hang myself. And then the douchebags, I just run away from. I just get the frig away from me. So I see why, I'm having that realization why it's probably not so much fun
hilarious.
for him to deal with them.
No.
Yeah.
Week after week.
Yeah.
You're the innocent bystander. You like to bystand.
Yeah.
Watch it from a distance.
It's so entertaining, but it sucks for him.
What's the saying? It's always fun to watch crazy. It's always fun to watch crazy, but you never want to be part of crazy.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Because crazy is fun to watch. I'm not going to lie.
So fun.
Oh, you never know what you're going to get.
It's true.
Exciting.
That's coming
It's
at
funny
you.
because one of the experts was saying to me, like under his breath, he was like, he'll go in saying, I hope they're gonna be crazy, like, 'cause, he knows it's fun and but it is gonna give poor John a heart attack one day.
God forbid.
Because they keep giving her more episodes too.
Yeah,
it's because hey, listen, it's an amazing show.
Well, nothing's working I shouldn't say nothing. Few things are working in TV, and if you think of Spike, Celebrity Lip Sync, and Bar Rescue, and Celebrity Lip Sync doesn't have as many episodes. It's not as repeatable. So really, it's Bar Rescue that carries this whole channel.
Yeah, that is true.
So they have to keep going to the well. But if I'm John, just internally, he has to have the support. He needs to be comfortable. It's hard, a guy his age, to travel like a rock star, live like a gypsy, basically be out in the middle of nowhere. Then you're dealing with, most of these people are addicts, which is the worst, or crazies, or, it's a lot of wear and tear. But as long as he has the internal support, I think he can or should keep it going, because you never know, lightning doesn't strike twice. No. Very often. In show business, it's just it's a really big show.
And it's crazy who you talk to, people I've talked to in different walks of life, everything. How many people actually watch this show? It's so crazy. I've been in galas, I've been in of course bars, people watch the show, but like different places, and I'll say something and they're like, Bar Rescue, I love that show, John Taffer, blah blah blah, and they'll just go into shut it down. Shut it down.
A lot of celebrities I know will say, I love that guy, I love that show. This weekend, I went to dinner with Sam Nazarian, who owns SBE. So the Sahara in Vegas and all the big hotels around the world. He knows the show, knows John. He's like, I really want to talk to him, but he just bought in like another 40 hotels. He's like, I got to get with that guy. Oh yeah. But it's like everybody knows John, even inside and outside of show business, which is like so cool. So anyway, we hope this can keep going, this magical ride. Yes. Just give us a couple of more wackadoodles. Come on, Katie. Wrangle that casting department. Yeah. Come on, get me the crazies.
Just one request, that's it. Right?
Okay, so we don't know. So, Marissa, unless you have information we don't, I guess we won't be back next week. Is there a new episode? Yeah, okay, so on the Bar Rescue updates, I went to Bar Rescue updates, shout out to our friendly little site there, and here's what it seems like. Everybody loves the renovation. Okay, so it's, there's no dissing on that. They all think the renovation's beautiful. The problem is the service.
Still?
Yes, and lackadaisical ownership. They're all saying the owners that's what it seemed like. I mean, there were many positive reviews as well, but then it just seemed that the ownership was lame. It took a long time to get food, long time to get drinks. and again, just apathy. So it's hard to really retrain someone, especially when they're older.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's why it's good when I get you brats while you're young, because it's the best shot. Yeah, because it's hard.
Well, thanks.
So it's true. When you get them older, forget it. When they're stuck in their ways in like their 40s and 50s, it's really a 1% chance that someone
absolutely.
after 35 or 40 can change.
Well, they did say that their sales were up 20%, so they must be doing something.
Yeah, and I
kind
like
of
when they do
different.
the video. When they do the video, we know we're gonna get something good.
yeah.
You know. So no, I think they can't help but be up. Because look
Yeah.
at the place.
Yeah, no, you can
And
only go up
but-
from there.
Yeah, but 6 months from now, if you're still doing the same thing, because in 4 days you really can't change someone's behavior. Behavior changes in 17 to 21 days, and if you go right back to doing what you're doing 6 months from now, unfortunately, they'll be back in the same hole that they're at.
Unless the makeover's so good,
That yeah.
it almost sets them up so I've seen businesses that where it's even the dumbest people can't fail because it's idiot proofed. I know. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
If you make it so
amazing.
You're like,
Yeah.
are you alive? But yet you're making all this money.
well, because if you set something up, so sometimes if you set up a system so well that they can't even fuck it up.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it looks nice. The bar looks so. I can see a lot. It's Long Beach. You have a really good clientele down there. So
and Long Beach is growing.
it is growing. It's continuing to grow. You're right. It's really
Yeah,
growing. It
it's-
used to be a rough area. Now it's not. I mean, most beach places eventually, doesn't matter how bad off they are, eventually they catch fire. You know. So and that's what
yeah.
we were down there a couple of weeks ago for a wedding, and I was watching a lot. I mean, a lot of nice places, a lot of nice people. And John was saying it was like I think $85,000 a year is the median income for that neighborhood. So I think.
So he's in a good neighborhood.
Yeah, so I think with a place like that, it looks good enough. I mean, you know, you'd show up and get drunk there, I think. You know,
yeah.
so yeah, I feel good about this one. I mean, listen, still open. He had said only he had only 4 months, and he's past that
He's definitely past that. Because when did you do that episode?
a while ago.
Yeah, it was
It'd be like a year ago.
No.
No.
It was about
6.
2 months ago. No, it was
Wasn't
about
it 2 months?
It was like maybe 3 months ago. It was
Wasn't it in
during
February?
It was
I read
on a night.
Really?
It was tomorrow's show was already on, so it was definitely like 3 months ago.
Oh wow! For
Like
some
4
reason,
months ago,
I think
something
it
like
was
that.
so long ago.
I know. I thought it was too, but it wasn't. It was actually shorter turnaround. The last time I did it, it was a lot longer.
Oh, okay. So you did do it before, though, right?
I've done it before this
yes.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That
I'm
was
thinking
longer.
of the one before.
Yeah. This was
okay.
actually kind of a quick turnaround.
Okay. Oh yeah, that is a quick
Yeah.
turnaround.
Yeah.
I did one, I think about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago.
I heard a little bit about this from you.
Yes, I did. So I don't know when it'll come up, but it was interesting.
I can't wait.
Where was that bar located?
It was out in the boonies, like Palm Springs, but like not Palm Springs. You know, like an hour or two away from Palm Springs. So we're really out in a
Oh, were you past Palm Springs?
desert area.
Like more Joshua Tree?
Probably.
Oh wow.
Lots of young.
A desert bar.
lots.
So it was in the middle of a desert, basically.
Here's the things. A lot of people that were your age and looked like you guys, except when they smiled, they had no teeth.
Oh no.
Crystal meth.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's like meth country out there.
And everyone's breath
Is it
was
really?
horrible because their teeth were all rotted out.
Oh, that's sad.
Like all of them. It was unbelievable.
Including the owners.
No.
Oh.
No, that was the irony. It was not. That's what was no, and that's why it was a tough rescue because I don't want to give it away, but it was. But everyone around there was just.
Oh, that's a shame.
You know, there was a tie back, and Ashley, you'll relate to this, but I remember back in the Carney days, and the unsavory characters
relate.
that I worked for. Well, you'll know it's
I'm only
Boston.
kidding.
No, you'll relate when you hear this. So I remember when they bought a bar, the group, the investment group, we'll call them, but really just a bunch of good fellas, wise guys.
Yeah.
They bought a bar, and the bar just was filled with that clientele. And I remember when they bought it, they always would come to me because I had an education. I had a college degree, so they thought I could do anything, whether it was medicine and anything legal.
Oh my God.
They just passed everything on to me.
That's amazing.
So
That's so funny.
They would pass.
That's like a
everything-
movie.
Yeah, everything they would pass on to me. So they said, okay, well, look, you gotta go buy and check. You gotta go check out this bar. We want to see if it's gonna make us money, and you need you to come up with a name.
He's a financer today.
So I was like, okay. So I went down and being a nerd, like I got all in, and I was like, okay, this is our foot traffic, and there's so many people, and this is what I would name it or whatever, and this is the crowd I'd go after. I said, but I go in there and I said, it's all drug addicts and junkies and scumbags and like hardcore alcoholics. I said, how do we bring in? I don't know, new clientele. Oh no, we'll worry about that. You just keep doing your sketches and your plans, and so okay. So I did all that, and then it was just in one week. They just go in there. Oh, excuse me, you spilled your beer. Bang, smash. I mean,
Where was this?
Somerville, and they just literally hammer people and beat them bodily, throw them out just quietly over like a whole week, and then that's it.
Wow.
All right, kid. Now paint the place.
Kind of like a Bronx Tale when they take all the bikers out of the bar.
It was just like, I was like, what happened?
Now you can't leave.
What happened to all the people? They're like, no. He's like, yeah, they know now. They don't. This isn't. We kind of let them know this isn't the place that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but
They took care of it.
We told them making some changes.
You're there like sketching with like glasses.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And
We're making changes.
Yeah, we're making some changes. It's like, so by the way, just don't worry about that. Just keep,
That's hilarious.
What else are you thinking? Like nachos? Oh, yeah, we can do nachos. Yeah. Small kitchen behind the bar. Like, okay, yeah. So it was like, so I set them up. I set up the bar, whatever, and my design, and they ended up being turned into a nice little neighborhood bar.
Oh my God.
But at the time, yeah, it was all. But that's how that back east gets handled.
So they rescued their own bar.
Yes, but
essentially.
mob style.
Mob style.
So it was just.
East
We're
Coast
gonna
style.
get something done.
It was just, and then the one
Gotta
of
do
the,
what you gotta do.
and by the way,
Exactly.
and a couple of the guys who gave me patrons who gave me a really hard time because total college nerd, clean cut, totally stood out.
In a Batman suit, probably.
Right.
I love your Batman suit.
There's no way I could fit. But even no matter what I did, I was not going to fit in with these guys. They knew, and they smell an outsider. So these two guys were really harassing me. So because I remember it was like the first night I went there. I was like, they're looking at me like they're going to kill me, and then it was like they came up on either side of me. Who are you? What are you doing here? No, and just fucking with me. And so I was like, listen, I went, and there was a couple of guys. Oh, yeah, see, Ashley knows where this is going. I was like, I went, and then there was a couple, they said, is there any way, like, the owner will let me go at, like, 8 in the morning when it's empty so I can sketch out? Because, who? It was just a couple of guys. Who? Okay, all right. Do you mind pointing them out to us? Oh, yeah, and sure enough.
Oh my God.
That was the end.
No sign of them. Gone.
They were in the newspaper the next day.
Yeah, I know.
Missing.
Do you want a milk carton? Have you seen George?
Yeah. And then, well, the great thing about those people is they're such scumbags that they're easy to get rid of.
Yeah.
Because nobody cares about them.
Oh.
So when they end up in the Mystic River, you know what I mean? It's just like nobody cares.
The Mystic River.
It's just-
We learned today.
That's amazing.
So anyway, that's my bar. That's Mafia Bar.
That's how you
Rescue.
started Bar Rescue.
Yeah.
But
It's a different
funny.
show.
Anyway, sorry guys.
Late night.
Sorry we went down that road.
Hey, we
Okay,
need those stories.
we're getting word that we're off next week, so we will be back, you guys, in a couple of weeks. Let's go around the table, starting with you, Ashley.
Okay.
What would you like to promote?
Oh, what would I like to promote? I'm on Twitter and Periscope at Ashley Daniels. I'll promote that. What about you, Gabby?
Thanks, Ash. I am Gabrielle_Loren on Twitter and Gabby.Loren on Instagram and Gabrielle Loren on Periscope.
Well, I don't have this thing you call Periscope yet.
It's like a telescope.
But you can find me on Twitter at Lula Cherry Films and on Instagram at Dorinda B1.
I'm Matt Undergaro, and you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And remember to rate and comment on iTunes and on YouTube, and or text not text, tweet at any one of us. And
Yeah, Kev, what's your number? Let everyone know.
I would.
I know you would.
I would give it up.
That would be amazing.
Just have
We
more
should see how many
friends.
people text you.
Why not make more friends?
That'd be hilarious.
You guys, anyway, we love you. Thanks so much. And hopefully we will get this whole group back so we can finally bring you a bigger, wider, better Bar Rescue after show. But until then, drink well.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
She's got like
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.